Savers are losers. Every second that your money stays in the bank is a second you are losing. In this video, I'm going to be explaining why that is and what you can do about it. Before that, for everyone that doesn't know me, I'm Matt. I have a pretty boring life. I study all day. I don't spend. I don't flirt. I save. I invest. Pretty boring for me. Now, don't get me wrong, okay? Saving is essential and core, especially if you want to make more money. Because when you save more and spend less, you're technically more rich than if you spent that money. But no one has ever gotten rich just by saving, right? Then when we were kids, we were always advertised to put our money and our allowances in the bank. But they are completely missing out and pointing something that's crucial to all of this. If you have saved over the years with the purpose of growing your money through bank interest rate, you've already lost. That is because of inflation rate. Now, I'm going to be explaining this as simple as I can. Ever got told by your grandparent or your parent that lived back in the 60s and 70s that whole chicken would cost only 1 peso and transportation would be around a couple of cents? Now, what do we have? A whole chicken in the docks would cost around 200 to 300 pesos in price. Sorry, I forgot because of quarantine. And then our transportation has already increased to 10 pesos for jeeps. You're gonna notice that goods today are very differently priced than goods decades ago. And the amount of increase in price is what we call inflation rate. Every year there is bound to be inflation, and this is just something that you can't escape from. Now, if you actually look at the history of inflation rate here in the Philippines, you're gonna notice that it was already super high. Back in 2018 alone, we had an inflation rate of 5.21%. Now, you might be asking, how does this affect my money sitting on my bank account? Well, if you actually look at the bigger picture, this does not only affect savings, but it also affects real estate, investing, stocks, and basically everything you can think of. Every year, our money keeps on decreasing in purchasing power, and that's why savers are losers. Especially those who don't invest and put their money to work. Interest rates in banks here in the Philippines are already super duper low. Let me give you an example. I'm a BDO user, and BDO only gives me 0.25% interest rate for my money that is in their bank. Then, if you actually look at the inflation rate right now in 2020, it's around 1.72%. Now, if you actually compute for it, even though I got a 0.25% increase, I had a negative 1.72% decrease just because of inflation rate. And that totals at around 1.47% if I'm not mistaken. So really, saving money here in the Philippines is not a way to grow your money up until now. Now, because of the rise of digital banks, less overhead, no physical location, they are able to provide a higher interest rate than traditional banks. And that's what I did here on this video. I researched the top 3 high interest rate banks in the Philippines as of recording in September 2020. Now, this is still not a way to become rich, but this is a way to combat inflation rate and make a little bit more money in doing so. So enough of the chit chat, let's start. Let's start with the third on the list, which is KOMO. KOMO is an all-exclusive digital bank here in the Philippines, a product of East West Bank, and they're fairly new. They've just officially released last May. However, they do brand it as the first all-exclusive digital bank here in the Philippines offered by a local bank. So that means BDO and BPI has got no say to this. Anyways, here's why I chose it as my third pick on this list. First, it's fairly new, so nobody could ever assure anybody that their service is the best. Second, I haven't personally used it, but they do give out one of the highest interest rates right now, and that is a whopping 3% interest rate. So not bad. Other than that, they do give out everything that a bank could offer. Here are a couple of noteworthy things about it. First, they use InstaPay if you're that kind of person. Second, they do give you the option to get a Visa debit card. You also have the option to have bank statements, free funds transfers, and it's PDIC insured, and all the good stuff. Plus, a lot of people are saying that their app is really good. So that's a +1 for me. However, there is just one disadvantage to this that I've been reading online, and that is that you only have a max of 4 non-East-West ATM transactions, and after using those 4, you're gonna have to incur a 10 peso fee, which is still not bad. Some ATMs have 15 peso transaction fees, so this is relatively low for my opinion. Second is ING, the first Philippine digital bank. I can't remember when they really got mainstream, but I do recall that they were probably the first ones to create this all digital bank concept here in the PH. They bombarded me with a ton of ads giving me 4% interest rate back then. 4%. And here is why I chose them as my second pick on this list. First, compared to KOMO, they are the more well-established bank here in the Philippines. Second, they do give out a 2.5% interest rate for any amount deposited below 20 million pesos and another 1% interest rate for any amount above 20 million pesos. So that would put you at around 2.5 to 3.5% interest rate. So not bad. And third, the reason why I chose this as my second pick is because I personally haven't experienced it and I can't say enough for their quality of service. So however, they do give out what every digital bank could offer, which is no minimum opening balance, no maintaining balance, no fees and charges. It's also PDIC insured. However, there is also one disadvantage that they do have, and a lot of people are saying that their app sucks, just like BDOs. So it's a bit of a bad news. This is more of an option that would give you a decent amount of interest rate while still being in a more well-established bank. ING has been one of the first ones to do this, so they do deserve a spot on this list. And the top bank on the list is CIMB. They are the most awarded digital bank here in the Philippines, and here is why they are the best. First, out of all the 3 banks on the list, this one is actually partnered with GCash through your GSave account, and who today does not have a GCash account yet? So, it's easy to install, easy to set up, and easy to use. I have personally used it. Second, they do give out the highest interest rate on this list, which is a whopping 3.1% interest rate on your GSave account and 3% interest rate on your UpSave account. Now, all you have to know is that they are practically the same account, just in different apps. By the way, that 3.1% interest rate on your GSave account is only up to 100,000 pesos, so anything above that, you're going to have to connect it with your UpSave account. Third and last, there's this promo that they're giving out up until September 30. They're going to give you 4% interest rate. 4% if you deposit an amount of 100,000 pesos minimum on their accounts. 4%, that's freaking insane. That's one of the highest interest rates that I've ever seen a bank give. It's also pretty liquid. You could easily deposit and withdraw with no hassle. You're also going to get the goodies that GCash gives and what every digital bank also gives. However, I do have to point out a couple of things and disadvantages that this has. First, if you do choose to create a GSave account, which is what I would recommend before going with an UpSave account, because you're just going to connect it in the end, your GSave account is only valid for only 12 months. After that, you're going to have to connect it to your UpSave account, and this just makes me think that this was just plainly a marketing move done by CIMB and GCash to get more users on their platform. And after 1 year, you're gonna have to set up another account, so you better connect that account as early as possible. Second, since GSave is in GCash, well, I had a lot of bad experiences with GCash in the past. One time I cashed in at 7-Eleven for 10,000 pesos and it didn't reflect on my account. I had contact support for 5 days. 5 freaking days. Last, if your GCash account gets hacked, same goes with your GSave account. But nevertheless, this is what I love when we get competition and innovation from companies. We as users and customers get all the benefits. These digital banks were so polarizing. They offered no lines, no queues, no fees, and best are the high interest rates to combat inflation rates. And over time, for sure, these digital banks will get more secure than traditional banks and improve over time. So it's a pretty exciting time to be alive. But just a reminder, there are still a lot of reasons to go with traditional banks than digital banks. For example, For business, for personal use, if your friends already have BDO or BPI, just for ease of transaction. Plus, if a bank is already near your place and you like their service and their staff, then why not? But that's it. That's the video. I hope you liked it. If you do liked it, make sure to smash the like button. It will definitely help this video out. And if you want to be updated with this journey and with every video that I post, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you won't miss a thing. Add me on Instagram at MattDoesn'tStop. Let's grow that bank account. I'll see you soon.